Hello, I hope you are all well. I thought today we would have a look at I think of a number. I think it's a really good way to explore solving equations. So let's have a look at a couple of examples and then we can apply it to the solving equations and you should be able to see how they're related. Okay, so I'm going to think of a number, I multiply it by 4 and my answer is 20. So what was my original number? A little bit of a puzzle for you. So how am I going to solve that? Well, to start with, I don't know what number you're thinking of, so I'm just going to put in a box here. Okay. So there's my number. I don't know what it is. What do I do to that number? Well, it tells me here that I'm going to multiply it by 4. So let's multiply it by 4. And then my answer is 20. Okay, so what can I do to find out what my original number was that I was thinking of? We're literally going to do the inverse. So I'm going to think about the 20, but this time I'm going to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to divide it by 4. And that tells me that that is 5. Okay, well, let's double check to make sure that does work. So if that was 5 and I multiplied it by 4, so 5, 10, 15, 20, it would equal 20. So we know that that is correct. Okay, let's have a look at a slightly harder one. This time I'm going to think of a number. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to multiply it by 2. It tells me here that I multiply it by 2. Then I'm going to add 3. So my answer was 17. So what was my original number? Can you work it out for me? So pause the video, have a go and see if you can get it. Okay, so you should have paused it and had a go and found what you think my number is. So this time we're going to work back the other way. So if I've got 17, I'm going to do the inverse operation. So I'm subtracting 3 this time. So that gives me 14. I'm just going to make a little note of it there. And then the inverse of multiplied by 2 is divided by 2. So 14 divided by 2 gives me 7. Well, let's double check to make sure that does work. So if I had 7 here, I multiply it by 2, it would give me 14. I add 3 would give me 17. So we know that that is correct. Now these are called function machines. So I'm going to give you one more to try, and then I would like you to use this to try and solve some equations. So this time you think of a number, you're subtracting 2 and then you're dividing it by 3 and the answer is 6. So let's write that up first. So I'm thinking of a number which you don't know. It tells me to subtract 2 first. I'm going to say subtract 2. I'm then going to divide it by 3. Okay, so it told me think of a number, subtract 2, which we've done, then divide by 3, which we have done, and my answer is 6. Okay, so if I want to find out what that original number is, I'm going to do the inverse. So my 6, this time I'm multiplying it because that's the inverse of division. So I'm multiplying it by 3. So 6 multiplied by 3 is 6, 12, 18. So we can make a little note of that. Next, the inverse of subtract 2 is add 2. So 18 add 2 is going to give me 20. So let's double check this works. So if I had 20 here and I subtracted 2, I would get 18. if I shared 18, if I divided it by 3, I would get 6. So we've checked it, it's correct. So I would like you to go and have a go at some of the questions and see how you get on.